All right, hello everyone. How are we doing?
Good.
Good. Well, welcome. My name is Sam. I'm a zookeeper here, and I'm going to be doing this feeding show for y'all. Now, before I get started, a couple of rules. If you've been to a show already, you probably heard these rules, but we are just required to go over them at the top of every show. Rule number 1, cannot have any kids on shoulders or sitting or standing or climbing on any of the railings at any point throughout the park today. This is just for safety. We don't want anybody going overboard into, obviously, a pool full of hungry alligators. Even if you're not near a body of water, we still do just ask that you keep your children off your shoulders, again, for safety purposes. Rule number 2 is no running. That is everywhere in the park, but especially past our hyenas and our mountain lions. If you run past them, it's actually very stressful because they can't get to you and they are looking at you like prey, even though it might look like they're playing with you. When they can't get what they're chasing, it makes them very anxious and they will take that energy out on each other. So please just be nice and calm. Help us keep our animals nice and calm, especially with how hot it is today. And then rule number 3 is just be respectful. Everything you see here is a full-time home of all of our animals, so please treat it as such. Treat it like you would treat your own home. Don't throw anything at them. Don't try to feed them anything. Don't try to touch them. And if you guys have any trash, please make sure it makes its way to a trash can. If we understand these rules, tell me yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. It looks like everybody is following those rules, so thank you all so much. There's a cobweb right there. I'm going to get that off. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and get started. Now, I cannot promise that these guys will jump for me, but usually our big ones and one smaller one jumps. And I have 3 of the big ones in front of me, so I think I will have a pretty good chance of getting some jumpers for y'all today. Now, what you see below me are all American alligators. These guys can be found anywhere from North Carolina to Florida and even over to parts of Texas, which means they are found native right here in Myrtle Beach. There's actually about 100,000 wild alligators in the state of South Carolina. Now, like I said, we do, why are you, ooh. Okay, well, I was still recovering from pooping my pants a little bit because he hit the entire dog. All right, here, look at me, Cole. I'm going to try, whoever jumps first is getting it. Ooh, they both jumped. Did you guys hear that popping sound?
Yes.
A little bit. I know it was probably kind of hard to hear. Now, that popping sound is not their teeth slamming together. That is actually their jaws slamming shut so hard that it forces all of the air out at one time and pushes that air out and creates that popping sound. So it's almost like breaking the sound barrier a little bit. And that is just because of their sheer bite force. These guys go through, I started talking about teeth instead of bite force. The bite force that they can have can actually max up to about 2,100 pounds per square inch. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is more than double the amount of pressure it takes to break concrete. Now, granted, none of us have ever given any of our alligators concrete, and hopefully nobody ever tries to, but just based on the numbers, they would actually have no problem breaking that concrete. Now, when they jump up to me, I can see about 80 teeth in their mouth at any given time. They will go through about 3,000 teeth in a lifetime. Hi, Bucky. His name's Bucky because he's got bug teeth. We're not very creative. Come on, I want to finish my facts. But anyway, they go through a lot of teeth. They go through about 3,000 in a lifetime. That's for a couple different reasons. Now, sometimes they fight, and you see all these spikes on their backs. Those are called osteoderms. That literally translates to bone skin. So when they fight, they are basically breaking their teeth off on these strong bones on their backs, on each other's backs. So that's one reason why the teeth will break off. Somebody's upset over there. Another reason they'll break off is, again, just because of that sheer bite force. That was another good pop, and that was Clef. Clef has a cleft lip. Again, we're not creative. Now, what am I feeding them right now? These little biscuits that I'm throwing out at the moment, these are called Croc Chow. These are basically just kind of like a multivitamin for them. It's just dry food, kind of similar to what you would feed a dog or a cat. It's just specifically formulated for alligators and crocodiles. And then the other thing I'm feeding them is chicken necks. Now, we usually do chicken necks or chicken backs, and we leave all the bones in. So these guys use their tails for a lot of stuff. They have these big, strong, heavy tails. They use them to swim. That is what they're using when they jump up to me. So they need very strong tails, and they have very short, stumpy legs. So they're pulling a lot of weight behind them. So they need to be able to have strong bones to be able to pull those tails. Hi, little guy. We call this one Eager because he always jumps very excitedly. And I say that, now he's not jumping. Oh, I don't know how I made that because he opened his mouth at the very last second. All right, I have a couple more pieces of crocodile. Let me throw these out. And then I have a little bit of chicken necks left to get through. Now, before I go through these last pieces,